Welcome to Kaywon Action Star. Watch. The story begins with Victor, a highly trained contract killer, driving to rendezvous with a notorious mafia boss named Javier. Victor isn't just some common assassin, he exclusively works for the most influential figures in the criminal world and demands an outrageous price for his assignments. Upon arriving at Javier's compound, he encounters the kingpin himself, who wastes no moment in presenting a task: eliminate his business competitor within a week for a fee of $1 million. Victor, however, is unimpressed and instantly refuses the proposal, declaring that his normal rate for such an operation is $3 million. He then stuns Javier by confessing that his rival had already offered him a much larger payment, $6 million, to kill Javier instead. Yet, being professional, Victor declines since Javier had contacted him first. Spotting Javier's guards aiming their firearms at him, Victor orders they lower them as a gesture of respect. When they disobey, he swiftly neutralizes them, effortlessly showcasing his deadly expertise. Shockingly, Javier remains composed despite the loss of his men and eventually consents to Victor's counter-demand of $3 million, though Victor raises the amount to $3.5 million as recompense for the insult. Javier accepts, and Victor departs the compound. Meanwhile, a disturbing secret about Javier's empire surfaces. It is revealed that he is deeply engaged in human trafficking. Hidden away in a concealed chamber within his base are numerous abducted women awaiting to be sold. Among them is a beautiful young woman named Sarah, who has been trapped in Javier's control since the age of 15. In desperation to regain freedom, she sees a chance as Victor prepares to leave. Grasping the moment, she slips into his vehicle and threatens him at gunpoint, insisting that he take her out of the fortress. Amid the tense standoff, Sarah recounts her tragic ordeal to Victor, confessing that she was kidnapped as a teenager and has been enslaved under Javier ever since. She warns Victor that Javier has no plan to pay him and instead intends to have him eliminated. Her disclosure unsettles Victor, but when she briefly lowers her guard, he knocks her unconscious. Back at Javier's headquarters, his younger sister, Isora, quickly realizes Sarah is absent and presumes she has escaped with Victor. Acting quickly, she summons a squad of armed soldiers to pursue them. The following morning, Sarah awakens to find herself bound inside a motel bathroom. Victor, who has been monitoring her, unties her but commands she remain still. Shortly afterward, Isora and Javier's henchmen arrive, demanding Sarah's surrender. Victor remains composed and proposes they resolve the issue peacefully, but when Isora rejects and insists on reclaiming Sarah, he annihilates all of Javier's men on the spot, enraged that they dared to confront him armed. Declaring his deal with Javier officially void, Victor spurns Isora's attempts to bargain, including an offer to exchange Sarah for other captives. When Isora arrogantly refers to Sarah as Javier's favorite slave, Victor, irritated by her insolence, shoots her in the leg and sends her limping back to her brother. Upon reaching the compound, Isora retells the humiliating incident, infuriating Javier. Determined to ensnare Victor, he devises a vicious scheme. He will torture one of Sarah's closest companions, still under his custody, and employ her as bait. Meanwhile, Victor and Sarah pause at a small roadside diner to eat. As they converse, Victor curiously asks why Javier is so fixated on her. Sarah explains that her striking looks were a major reason she was spared all these years. Excusing herself to use the restroom, she steps away momentarily, but danger swiftly follows. Two gangsters enter the diner, clearly dispatched to recapture her. Before they can act, Victor swiftly disposes of them, leaving their corpses sprawled on the floor. Feeling pity for the shopkeeper who witnessed the bloodshed, Victor compensates him by handing over the keys to his expensive sports car before leaving with Sarah. Later that evening, Victor brings Sarah to his extravagant villa, offering her a temporary refuge. As Victor checks his laptop, a horrifying video message from Javier plays, depicting him tormenting Sarah's best friend. Initially, Victor tries to shield her from it, but she insists. Consumed with guilt, she pleads with Victor to take her back to Javier in exchange for her friend's safety. Reluctantly, Victor agrees, arranging a swap, Sarah for two other captives, including her tortured companion. Before setting out, he introduces Sarah to his loyal ally, Nicholas, another contract assassin. The two have completed countless operations together, and Victor asks Nicholas to support him at the trade site. However, upon arrival, Javier is nowhere in sight, leaving Isadora to handle it instead. This further enrages Victor, as he sees it as another sign of dishonor. As the exchange is about to proceed, Victor abruptly changes his decision and refuses to surrender Sarah. A violent firefight erupts, with Victor and Nicholas wiping out Javier's squad. Amid the chaos, Sarah's friend is wounded, but Nicholas ensures her safe return to her family. With their foes' forces shattered, Victor and Sarah choose to flee to Romania, hoping to escape Javier's vengeance. Furious over Isadora's demise, Javier swears to hunt them down wherever they run. Upon reaching Romania, Victor and Sarah seek assistance from Samantha, a longtime confidant and trusted ally. She grants them shelter in her residence, aware of the peril Javier represents. Worried for Sarah's security, Victor hands her a firearm and insists she remain with Samantha while he returns to Mexico to kill Javier once and for all. However, just before boarding his flight, he receives alarming intelligence: Javier's agents have already tracked them to Romania. Abandoning his plan, Victor hurries back to Samantha's home. Meanwhile, Sarah, trying to understand everything, speaks with Samantha and learns about Victor's past. Samantha discloses that both Victor and Nicholas were orphans raised by a priest who secretly managed an assassin syndicate. Their upbringing molded them into two of the most feared killers alive. Their discussion is cut short by a knock at the door. Realizing danger, Samantha quickly conceals Sarah in a secret chamber. Javier's soldiers storm inside, shooting Samantha and demanding Sarah's location. A defiant Samantha lies, claiming Sarah departed earlier with Victor. Javier, merciless and distrustful, tortures Samantha for information before shooting her again. Watching the nightmare unfold on a hidden camera, Sarah battles with a choice: should she remain hidden or surrender herself to end Samantha's torment? Unable to bear it, she steps out to give herself up. Before Javier's men can react, Victor bursts in, slaughtering them with ruthless precision. In the turmoil, Sarah uses the very gun Victor entrusted her with to kill Javier. Tragically, Samantha succumbs to her wounds, leaving Sarah heartbroken. After ensuring Javier's demise, Victor and Sarah journey to a church where Nicholas awaits. The site holds deep importance. It is where Victor and Nicholas were raised under the priest's guardianship. Yet the reunion is anything but peaceful. Victor accuses Nicholas of treachery, convinced he exposed their position to Javier. Nicholas denies, swearing upon their shared history. As the tension escalates, Victor nearly pulls the trigger, but Sarah intervenes. That's when Victor notices something: a small tracking device implanted in Sarah's neck without her knowledge. Realizing his grave mistake, he apologizes to Nicholas, and the three attempt to move on. That night, Victor has a sincere conversation with Sarah, offering her a new identity, money, and a clean start away from his violent existence. However, Sarah has resolved to stay with him, even if it means embracing the brutal path he walks. Admiring her determination, Victor agrees to mentor her. 2 years later, Sarah is no longer the terrified girl she once was. She has completely embraced her role as a seasoned assassin. During an assignment to eliminate a prominent target, she unexpectedly encounters Victor. It turns out they've been contracted by the same employer. Their reunion is somewhat uneasy. The bittersweet moment serves as a sharp reminder of the lives they once endured, and the choices they made that led them here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel for more beautiful recaps like this. Put down your comments below to let me know what you think about the turn of events in this storyline. And also give my video a thumbs up to further motivate me. Share too for others to enjoy. Until my next recap, cheers!